You can't remain neutral in the war between the flesh and the spirit as a follower of Jesus. If you try to remain neutral, the flesh is going to win out. You've got to be aggressive in this battle, and you've got to use the weapons and the tools that God has given to us. Paul says that it's possible for him to be taken captive. In Romans chapter 7, verse 22, he says, "For I delight in the law of God after the inward man. But I see another law in my members, warring against the law of my mind and bringing me into captivity to the law of sin which is in my members." So Paul says that he has these two laws at work in him. With his mind, he delights in God's law. With his members, his flesh, he still delights in the law of sin. Now, this is a believer that's having this battle within them. He describes this in the book of Galatians in chapter 5 and verse 16. "This I say then, walk in the Spirit, and ye shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh. For the flesh lusteth against the Spirit, and the Spirit against the flesh, and these are contrary the one to the other, so that ye cannot do the things that ye would." This is the battle that is going on inside the Christian. We have got to participate in this battle, and we've got to fight it. Otherwise, we'll be taken captive by the law of sin. So how do we fight it? Well, God has given us spiritual weapons to fight this battle. Paul tells us in 2 Corinthians chapter 10 and verse 3, "For though we walk in the flesh, we do not war after the flesh. For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal or fleshly, but mighty through God to the pulling down of strongholds, casting down imaginations, and every high thing that exalts itself against the knowledge of God, and bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of Christ." Now there it is. The battlefield is the mind. And so I know that my flesh desires sin. And I know that if I give in to that, that I'm going to be taken captive by the law of sin. And so instead, what I've got to do is I've got to, in the area of the mind, I've got to cast down these imaginations that rise up. And so I've got to take every thought and make it captive. I'm either being taken captive or I'm taking captives. And if you're going to be doing battle in the spiritual realm, this is how you do it. You cast down these imaginations and you take every thought captive to the obedience of Christ. Well, what does that mean? It means that when we have a thought, we take it and we arrest that thought and we weigh it against God's word. If it is contrary to God's word, if it is something that God's word says is sin, then we get rid of it and we don't obey it. We don't follow through with that thought. We don't allow the members of our body to participate in what that thought is leading us in. Instead, we walk in the Spirit. We delight in the law of God in the inward man. We allow God's word and the Spirit of Christ to lead us and to drive us in the direction of following Jesus. This is something that is going to be an ongoing thing for the believer. We're going to be battling this until we are resurrected and we get new bodies. So I just want to encourage you this morning, these mighty weapons that he tells us about here, they are mighty through God to the pulling down of strongholds. And these strongholds are these areas in our life of besetting sin that we continue to fall to. And so when the temptation arises, we've got to take that thought captive and we've got to make it obedient to Christ, because that is how you walk in the Spirit. That's how you obey the Spirit and deny the flesh. So I just want to encourage you in that. It's an ongoing battle. You've got to be proactive in it. You can't sit on the fence in this battle. You're going to get drug into it. So be proactive and walk in the Spirit. God bless you. Have a great day.